Today is May 21st, 2020, and your wedding was 47 days ago. You are officially in the second month of your marriage. I'm going to have Kyrda answer the questions first. So, Michael, if you'll please put on the headphones and turn up the music so you cannot hear Kyrda's answers, but so you guys can still see each other. So, Kyrda, your first question. What was the most memorable part of your wedding day?
Well, I think getting ready was memorable just because it was so different than what I imagined. Actually, the whole thing was just way different than I imagined, but I think specifically the most memorable part was Michael and I decided not to do a first look. So I had gotten ready, and it was right before we were gonna walk down, or I was gonna walk down the aisle. We had a partition set up at the end of this hallway, and we got to pray together right before our wedding. And I was like super nervous. And so praying beforehand and getting to like talk to Michael a little bit before that started was just really nice, and it was just a fun thing that we got to do that we had planned from the beginning that stayed the same too, which was nice. So that was probably one of my most memorable parts.
Number 2, what have you learned about each other in your first month of marriage?
I think I've just like reaffirmed a lot of the things that I already knew about Michael, but more so I've learned that we think very differently. He's very logical, very like, I don't know, he's an engineer, so I'm not an engineer. We just think very differently, and that's just been more prevalent as we've been living together, and I've learned he likes to plan things. He's a planner and I'm not, so we're just very different, which is really fun to learn, but also really frustrating at the same time. I've just seen more examples of him being kind and patient and just really funny, and it's just been really fun to just learn little things about each other too. Like, we spent lots of time talking when we were dating and engaged, and we've learned a lot of stories about each other, but there's still more that we didn't know, so definitely learned a lot.
And lastly, what were the pros and cons of having a wedding during quarantine and lockdown?
Definitely one of the biggest cons was that we couldn't have everybody that we loved around us like we had planned for our wedding day. That was really hard to have to, to know that I had planned like my grandparents and taking pictures with my grandparents and just our close friends. We didn't get to have our wedding party there, most of it, and that was really hard. It was hard like in the in-between stage whenever coronavirus was first starting to take over, because we had planned this like big wedding, and then we had to reduce it down to like, what if we have to do like a 50-person wedding? So we started making a list of who are those 50 people that we're going to invite, and then it got reduced down to like 25 or something, and then it was 10. So we're just like, well, I don't know, just having to go through all the like rescheduling our vendors and just changing all of our plans so quickly. It was really hard. Like, we knew that we wanted to get married still on that day because I didn't have a job and I wasn't living anywhere, so it was just pretty much had to still happen, and we are still really excited to get married, and that was the most important part, but it was just hard adjusting all those plans. But pros, both of us really don't like having attention on ourselves, and so we only had like 10 people looking at us instead of a couple hundred people, so that was really nice. We didn't really have to coordinate as many people too. We had a pretty big bridal party, so we didn't have to try and, coordinate 7 girls getting ready and 7 guys getting ready besides ourselves. We just had our families, and I don't know, it was nice getting to like spend some quality time with our families too without all the other guests to greet and worry about. we were sad that they couldn't be there, but it was nice to just have that intimate time with our families and with ourselves. So we did have some people come and hang out in the parking lot and see us from afar, so that was cool too. And another thing, I just thought of this, we had so many people after our wedding say that they had watched our wedding online that weren't on our invite list, or just that they couldn't have made the cut for watching our wedding in person, but that they cared enough to watch it and tell us that they watched it. It was really cool to see and hear about all the people that were watching our wedding and praying for us and wishing us well as we began our marriage. That was really cool too.
Thank you, Kyrda. It is now Michael's turn.
It's your turn.
1 second. I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna change your music.
The first song I listened to was Smile. So, that was cool.
First question, what was the most memorable part of your wedding day?
The most memorable part of the wedding day, probably have to say giving the vows. That was exciting. It was like right before we officially said I do, I guess, and emotions were running high, and I don't know, it was fun to hear them. We had talked kind of briefly while we were writing them, but didn't know the final vows till then, so that was cool.
Number 2, what have you learned about each other in the first month of marriage?
What have I learned about each other? What have we learned about each other in the first couple months of marriage? Probably, I don't know. I mean, living together, you just learn a bunch of little things that you didn't know before. And that's probably been one of the biggest things that I've learned about us. And, different ways that maybe different tendencies of mine that weren't annoying before are now annoying, because we spend all our time together and learning how to navigate that and things like that. Just random little facts about each other. Like Kyrda likes to put away the groceries, and I discovered that, and then I didn't help her, and then she thanked me for not helping her, and I was like, oh, so that was interesting.
Okay. That's funny.
Yeah.
Lastly, what were the pros and cons of having a wedding during quarantine, so you had a live stream wedding?
Pros and cons of a quarantine wedding. I mean, definitely there were a lot of people that weren't able to be there. And so that was sad, but it was also, there are several pros that I think happened because of it. Like, we weren't planning on videoing the wedding, and so we got a video of the wedding, so that's pretty cool. And by live streaming it, potentially more than the people that we initially invited were able to see it. So that was really cool too. And I don't know, some parts of it was kind of eerie feeling, because we set it up to where there's still aisles and everything, just a bunch of empty aisles, so that was kind of weird, but we still got married, so that was definitely a good thing.
Very good. You are all done for today.
All right. I probably answered a lot faster than her.
Welcome to month 2. It is ladies first, and your question is, what is your favorite part about marriage?
My favorite part about marriage is having someone to just do everything with, and I have someone who can keep me accountable, someone who can just do stuff with me. Like we've been going on a lot of bike rides and a lot of hikes recently, so that's been really fun. And just making dinners together. We just like get to do all kinds of stuff together, and he's my best friend. So that's just really fun to have your best friend to do all those things with. And I just enjoy spending time together.
That's all. Michael's turn.
He's taking Snapchats on my phone. It's your turn.
Just a second.
Oh, I just got a Snapchat. Michael, what is your favorite part of marriage?
My favorite part, probably just like the companionship. I think our week-long honeymoon was the first time that like we had been with each other like in so many successful days, and so that's kind of crazy to think about. And now we've been around each other for 2 months straight, so it's going pretty well. Also, like working from home, like I just see her a lot, and we get to do things together, and like each week we go grocery shopping. That's a lot of fun. But just all in all, doing life together.
It is July, so now you guys are in month 3 of marriage. So during this third month, are you guys still quarantined and being married all the time, stuck together?
Mostly. I go to work every day now, so we have a little bit of time apart during the day.
And there was one time that I went to a bachelor party and I was gone. Other than that.
Yeah, we spent our first night apart.
Oh.
Yeah, it's true. Technically May 30th, I guess.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
But
Wait, what was May 30th?
The
Connor's
bachelor party.
Bachelor
Okay.
party, yeah.
Okay.
I stayed at Ellie and Charlie's house.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that's
yes.
true.
Excellent.
Yep.
Okay, we are ready to go then for our only question.
Good?
Yeah, I can't hear anything.
Okay.
What was your favorite thing you did this month?
I couldn't pick, so I have 2 answers. I enjoyed going to Annie and Jared's wedding, so that was fun. It was our first like big wedding that we went to since COVID started. And so it was fun getting to see all of our CCH friends and getting to do that as a married couple. And we got to do the song where you dance and then sit down when you have been married for that amount of time. So we got to participate in that for the first time. And then my favorite, just like regular day thing, we started a tradition where we do pizza and movie on Fridays, which we had done in the first couple of months of marriage too, but it's just like becoming a routine now that we do every week. And so that's just a really fun thing, tradition that we got to start in our marriage, which I've enjoyed.
Favorite thing? We've made a couple trips, like just exploring KC. 'Cause a lot of things are like closed. But one day we played some tennis in Liberty, and then we drove down to Independence and explored like the downtown area. That was pretty cool. It's kind of historic. Saw like President Truman's old house. And another day we went to Crown Center and saw like the view as the sun was setting and everything, and that was pretty cool. There's not a lot of people out, so that's kind of nice to like explore popular like landmarks in KC right now. But I'd probably say exploring.
It's month 4 and we are ready for our question, but I forgot our headphones. So Kyrda's gonna come this way. Right there is good. And the question is, what do you remember most about your engagement, your proposal?
Okay, so the full story. I remember Friday before, we got engaged on a Sunday. The Friday before we went to Pancheros and got lunch.
I feel like I remember a good amount. I guess the week before is when I kind of set it up. we were grabbing lunch at Pancheros.
And Michael had suggested that we get dinner on Sunday and dress up nice.
And we hadn't eaten out anywhere in a while, like dressed up all fancy.
And go to Jeff City, which was like kind of unusual because we don't do that very often, but I mean it could have just been like a nice date. So I was a little bit suspicious when he said that, but then when we were like planning our evening, he was not deciding anything. He was asking me like, what do you want to do? And he just like knew me well enough to know that I would suggest Central Dairy because I do that every time we go to Jeff City.
And so I asked her if she wanted to do that and maybe grab Central Dairy. Well, I don't know if I said that, but I geared it towards Jeff City and kind of hoping that she would want to stop at one of her favorite places at the River Access.
And that I would want to go to the River Access, which is my favorite place in Jeff City. So Sunday rolls around and we get dressed up and go to Jeff City. We had to go to Central Dairy first because they close at 6. So we needed to go there. And then we immediately after that needed to go to the River Access because it's gonna get dark.
So we went to Jeff City, and since Central Dairy closes early, we had to go there first. So that worked out because we weren't actually gonna eat dinner in Jeff City. But we went to the River Access before the sun went down.
So we did that, and we were walking around at the River Access in our nice clothes, and we were gonna go get dinner in Jeff City after that. And I remember we were like walking around underneath the bridge, like on a place that I don't normally walk, but we were like right by the river. And we like kind of kept walking, and I was walking pretty far, and then Michael was like, hey, let's walk back this way.
And my sisters were hiding in a hammock. I think they were dressed up, but they were hiding. It looked nonchalant. Someone just hammocking.
And so we walked back that way, and I didn't know this, but his sisters were camouflaged in a hammock and hiding behind a tree. And so they were waiting to take pictures of us. So we kind of stood there for a long time, and I was like, we were like hugging, and I was like, this is kind of weird, but you know, whatever. And then he got down on one knee and proposed to me.
That's when I proposed. But on the way there, I guess for Valentine's Day, a few months before, Kyrda had made like a playlist, like 4 different CDs of like songs for me to listen to, and so a couple of them like subtly hint marriage or whatever. I think one of them called "Marry Me," and so I played those songs on the way there to see if she could see that, but she didn't. So that was kind of funny. But then.
And then after that, his sisters were there, so they gave us like a little gift, and we grabbed some locks and put them on the bridge at the Missouri River in Jeff City. So it was fun. I was very surprised. I didn't expect it because he made me plan everything, so that was fun.
Wow, very good on Michael's part.
After she said yes, we went up to the bridge and had locks, and we found a spot like overlooking the spot where we got engaged, and I think we wrote something on them and tied them to the bridge and swallowed the keys. Now we threw them in the river. But they're still there. We visited them not too long ago. They're starting to rust a little bit, but you can see the spot. It's a little bit different now because of the flooding, but yep, that's it.
It is September, late September. I'm not going to say what date it is because I'm a little behind schedule, but we're celebrating month 5, September. And your questions today, there's 2 questions, but they kind of go together. It's what did you first notice about Michael? But then also for any viewers out there who are unaware, Kyrda and Michael went on this trip to Virginia with some other friends, and it was a pretty big vacation in terms of their relationship starting. So just fitting in, what do you remember about Virginia, and what did you first notice about Michael?
Okay. Well, when I first met Michael, he was just like the freshman that got shoved into the 4-man with like a bunch of crazy people. In my mind, it's just like I was just like, oh, that poor freshman. But yeah, I remember like getting to know him through playing cards, like playing Nerds or I forgot what other games. Exploding Kittens. What did you say?
Spades.
Oh, yeah. So, I just remember, everything that came out of his mouth was, so unexpected. I could not predict what he was going to say at all. And that was, one of the first things I remember thinking about Michael.
The first week, CCH move-in week before classes get started, there's always a lot of events ongoing, and one of those was a scavenger hunt, and we were on the same team, just running around campus looking for different landmarks or whatever. But I don't know, I remember specifically introducing each other the first time, on the sidewalk behind the rec. And I don't know, she was a senior that studying journalism and liked volleyball. I think that was the takeaways from my conversation with her then. Which, by the way, we weren't taking the scavenger hunt seriously, but we definitely did win. So that was exciting. At the beginning, we were all walking and everything, and then at the end, we were, we need to be there in 1 minute, and we have them all done. Let's run, and we got there. So that's fun. I don't know. So I guess she was competitive too, which still see today. Lots of games and competitions.
So Virginia, that was near the end of the school year. Well, it was after the school year, but nearing the end of the school year is when we had kind of started talking a little bit more frequently. And so when we went on that trip, I don't know, we had become closer at that point. And middle of the trip, there was a couple nights where we had hung out later than everybody else. There was a night, a couple nights before the end, where we watched Castaway, and we were sitting next to each other, and it was put your hand here, I hope you hold my hand, but it didn't happen because we fell asleep and it was late. And then the next night, we decided to go stargazing because we were on a lake in Virginia with Sarai's family.
Charlie is just melting right now hearing the story.
It's pretty cute, I'm not gonna lie. So, yeah, the night before the last night we were there, we went stargazing on the dock at the lake house. So we walked down there, and we were the only ones, and we were just stargazing. But it once again got really late, and it was I put my hand out there on the dock, and we have this inside joke now because he was falling asleep, and he was oh, my hand was painted. He just said that randomly, and he was half asleep. So we talk about when we're really tired, we say oh, is your hand painted? So it was fun, and we were really freaked out because I kept seeing floating things in the lake, and it was freaking me out. But anyway, all of this came to culmination on the last day of our trip because we went to Wrightsville Beach in North Carolina, and Michael and I were the people that drove, and then we were each other's, I think he was definitely my co-pilot. I don't remember if I was his or not on the way there. But we just talked a lot and played the alphabet game the whole way back, and so everyone was really tired, and so a lot of people went to bed early. But Michael and I played a couple games of checkers, and then we went outside on the roof, and we were looking at the stars, and just started talking about our relationship, and decided that we both liked each other, and wanted to take it a step further, and then we held hands on the roof, and it was super cute. And so then on the way, the 15-hour drive on the way back the next day, we were holding hands in the car. Everyone kept making fun of us, hand check, the whole way back, but it was really funny. Yeah. So then our relationship began, and we had our first date a week and a half later or something, so.
And I remember getting a lot of pictures of you and Michael asleep in the back of the car.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Sarai sent us one. We were in the back, asleep. I think my head, fell on Michael's shoulder or something. So. Yeah, it's cute.
Yeah. It is very cute.
Question 2. Oh, Virginia. So I guess these kind of bookends that year. Like, 'cause that was the first week of school, and this is like the last week of school. I think it was right after finals. It was Memorial Day weekend. And I think that's normally after finals. I'm out of school mode now, so that's kind of weird. But group of friends, including Kyrda and I. Let's see. Sarai, Annie, Aaron, Brad, and Caprice. Hopefully that's all of them. I'd be awkward if I had missed one of them. But we all road tripped to Virginia. That was fun. Sarai's family has a lake house there, so from that trip, I don't know, I feel like the early stages of a relationship is kind of awkward, so I remember some awkward times, but I remember one night in particular, we were the last two that decided to go to sleep or whatever, and so we were both on the dock and just talking and sharing stories for a long time, and that was fun and memorable, and I feel like that is those conversations kind of like are what the big thing that started our relationship from like moving forward past just being friends, because we had been friends for a long time, and so I remember like after that, like we were out on a dock, and so it was dark whenever we were walking back to the house, so like a lot of spiders had come out. I remember that specifically too, and some dogs barking, but yeah, after that, I remember the ride back. We held hands the whole time, and the rest of our friends kind of noticed but didn't say anything. Kind of, I think they made fun of us, but that was fun.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, shortly after that, I think we went on our first date a week or so later, June 9th. Remember that day, so.
Good job.
Yeah.
It is month 8, and you have been married 8 months, obviously. And the year 2020 is almost over. So first, just a question about New Year's type question as we go into 2021. What's something you're looking forward to next year?
I think just like as the vaccine comes out, I'm hoping that like COVID is a little less scary. I don't know, just being able to do more things, and just hopefully, I think everyone is just kind of hoping that that brings about change, and just like, yeah, it'll be nice to be able to have some normalcy, I think, even if it doesn't go back to exactly the way it was or whatever, but just being able to do things, excited for that. Hopefully seeing friends and family more often. So that's what I'm excited for.
The next year, 2021, hopefully the pandemic settles down. That's kind of like the basis of my answer, because one of the biggest things I'm looking forward to in 2021 is finding a church family, and that's kind of been difficult this year. One of the more challenging things of the pandemic, especially since we just moved to KC, and so being able to meet people at church, during the pandemic this year, 2020, it's been a mix of like not going to church at all, and having to stream it from home, to being able to go to church, but in masks, and it's very much geared towards people who already go there, and so kind of everyone's wearing masks, encouraged not to talk to each other and sit far away from each other and get in, get out. So while it's certainly been exciting to be able to go to church, I'm definitely looking forward to being able to meet people there. So,
Since you are now in the second half of your marriage, what's something of your first year? What's something you're looking forward to as we made it halfway, now we're going on the downhill slope of our first year. What's something you're looking forward to in your marriage?
I'm excited to just spend more time with Michael and get to know him even better. Like, I just think in the first 8 months we've just been, getting used to living with another person, like living with someone of the opposite gender especially. Like, that's just been an adjustment, and we do things differently, and it's kind of been fun at the same time to see, like, oh, in your house, this is how you do things, and I can just, like, tell, like, especially when I've gone over to his house, like, oh, this is the way that your family has done things, and just having to learn those little things has been, like, a lot in the first half. So it's just getting past those things and just, like, setting our own routines has been fun already, and I'm sure will be even more fun as time goes on. I'm excited for, just doing more fun things together and just settling in. I'm hoping that when COVID kind of settles down too, we can establish a church and make some friends in Kansas City, because we haven't really been able to do that yet. We have a church that we've been kind of listening to and going to, but I just think establishing some roots here will be good for us and good for our marriage, and so we can find some, like, people to mentor us or go alongside us. And not that we don't have that in Columbia, but it would be nice to put down more established roots. So I'm excited for that as we move forward.
looking forward to, I guess, the rest of the firsts. I guess there'll be more firsts after the first year, but like next week we'll have our first Christmas as a married couple, and so that's exciting. And then the week after, immediately after the first New Year's, is a just bang bang right there. But I guess that's why they call it the holidays. But and then celebrating her birthday as a married couple, just like the different dynamics of that. Same thing with Valentine's Day, and then Easter. Technically, we already went through as a married couple because it was the Sunday of our honeymoon. But this upcoming year, it'll be our 1 year anniversary on the day, so that's kind of exciting. But probably really it'll be the third Easter the following year when it's finally a more normal looking Easter. So I guess the rest of the firsts.
It is now month 9, and so for this month's question, it is, how does Michael show you love?
So whenever I got this question, the first thing I thought of was like love languages. So my love language is quality time. And then I was thinking, like, how do we spend quality time together? And I was like, well, we live together, and we've like been quarantined / don't have any friends in Kansas City yet. So like we'd spend a lot of time together. But then I was thinking, like, what makes it quality time? And I think we just like do a lot of things that we both like together, and we watch a lot of shows and movies, and just have fun talking to each other. I don't know. I feel like whenever we first started dating, we would stay up till like 5 a.m. just like talking and like never run out of stuff because we had stories that we didn't know about each other. And so I feel like there's just that nervousness, like the longer you go in a relationship, like what if we run out of stuff to talk about? But we don't, and it's really fun to talk about life or talk about stuff. So I think quality time is one of the ways that he shows love to me, just communicating and asking about my day. I also thought about some of the other like love languages and how he shows love in those ways, because he does, even though quality time is my favorite, he still does a really good job with physical touch. You know, we like to hold hands or cuddle or whatever as we watch a movie. Acts of service. He's just really good about being a servant and being really selfless, and he like gets me water before bed all the time, which is really small, but like I don't have to get up and get water because I drink a lot of water during the night. And just yesterday I just briefly mentioned like, oh, I'm gonna have to like get out the door a little earlier to get the snow off the car because I'm gonna take a different car that we've been driving. He was just like, oh no, like I'll clear it, and we got home and we're both pretty tired, and he like cleared the snow off so I wouldn't have to get up earlier. So it's just little things that are nice. Another thing, we play a lot of games, and I know we both like games, so he shows love to me by playing games that I like, or like I know that he doesn't really like trivia games, but he'll definitely play Trivial Pursuit or like quiz me in trivia, and that tells me that he loves me. And sorry, I have like a lot of things that I wrote down because there's lots of things, so I feel like I'm gonna ramble, like I said, but I think accountability is another thing that I really like that shows me that he loves me. When we just read, what did we just read? Maybe it was when we were reading Sacred Search, or no, it was You and Me Forever by Francis Chan and Lisa Chan, and it talks about in that book, like, you are not only like preparing yourself to like be at the end of your life and be before Jesus, but you're like, when you're married, you're like helping your spouse prepare for that moment. And I think just he does a good job with keeping me accountable and helping me with that preparation. So that's shows me that he cares about not only my physical human life, but cares about and loves me enough to prepare me for heaven, and that's really cool. And another thing, he helps me do stuff that I hate. Just like I have a lot of social anxiety and do not like making phone calls or like writing emails to people. I just like starting the conversation is really hard for me. So he'll always like sit me down and be like, let's write this together, or like just sending a message yesterday for inviting people to spend time with me for my birthday. He was like, let's just write it together. You don't have to send it today, but like, let's just write it. And we did, and it wasn't that bad, and I sent it, and it was great. I know that people aren't going to judge me, but like, he's always like, oh, let's just write it down. Don't worry about it. So that's nice. I don't know. That's all I have on my Post-it, but he shows me love a lot.
That's a lot for a Post-it.
It's a lot of little notes, but wow. Yeah, we
Very
actually
good answer.
Yeah. Thanks.
Very sweet.
Are you ready to switch? He's listening to Andy Mineo.
This is actually the first time I can hear the music.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's really loud.
It is pretty loud. I can hear it. I should turn this down. I guess not.
Yeah, it'll be.
Which one's which? Like this?
That's left, that's right. The mic one is the right.
Oh, you're right. Alright.
The question is, how does Kyrda show you love?
How does Kyrda show me love? Well, in some ways this is a hard question. In other ways it's an easy question. I feel like it's hard to think of ways that she doesn't show me love. So there's like too many to say, I feel like. But I feel like from the moment we wake up to when we go to bed, and maybe while we're dreaming, she's showing me love. So I guess that's like 24/7. Unless we pull an all-nighter or something. Haven't done that yet, but anyway, I mean, just little things, like she'll get ready to go to work and then she'll kiss me goodbye. Just texting throughout the day, well, on her lunch break when she can see her phone. Just seeing it in her smile and our conversations. She takes interests in what I like. She shares my interests, and she shares her interests, and our common interests, which I feel like there's a lot of them, so that's cool. Seeing her just excited to see me when she gets home from work. And I work from home, so that's so I normally get to see her get home from work, so that's cool. Trying to think what else. Praying together. Just being vulnerable with each other. And just the way that she encourages me, and even like being able to tell me whenever I am in the wrong or being rude, and yeah, that sort of thing. I didn't take notes like she did, but that's probably another one. She shows her love really well in like letters and words of encouragement. She has a really good way with words. So, yep.
Now it's February, the month of love. Is this month 8 or month 10? I already forgot. April, then May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February. Yes, month 10. That's a big month. Oh, yes, the month of love. I have no Valentine's Day questions for you guys, though. Question number 1. What is one chore that Michael does that you just love that he does it?
Normally he does bathrooms. I have just a weird fear of toilets and don't like the toilet. So he usually does bathrooms. It's really funny because for one of our wedding showers, his aunt and uncle got us like a clean fast kit, and it's like an apron that has like cleaning rags and like a spray bottle and just like cleaning stuff, and he like wears it to clean, and it's really cute. It's just like a canvas apron. Aww. Also, I know you said one chore, but it's really cute. He also really likes to vacuum. I think it's like a mowing thing. Like he likes to make the lines in the carpet. Like you know how guys like love making the lines with the mower? Like he likes making the lines with the carpet. Like he vacuums way more than I would ever vacuum. It's just really.
And since you don't have a lawn right now, since you're in an apartment, that makes sense that he needs it.
Right. So this is his lawn. He just vacuums the
funny.
carpet. Yeah.
What chore does she do? I would say laundry. She does laundry probably the majority of the time. We both do it, but she does it more than me. And yeah, I don't know. It's one that needs to be done like once or twice a week. So that's nice.
Question number 2. What is something that you really like about the way that Michael prays?
I like that he prays often. I know before we talked about like the way that his family does things is different than the way my family does things. So I can tell with like different like phrases that he uses when he prays, like, oh, this, like, or when I like visit his family, like, oh, this comes from your family. It's just interesting that I don't know, just the little phrases that he uses while praying. But I also like he always is thankful for Jesus, and not that I'm not thankful for Jesus, but he just always includes that in his prayers, and I just think that's really cool because that is like a huge part of our faith, and he's just thankful for that sacrifice, and I think that's cool.
I would say just hearing the way Kyrda prays, you can tell she's not like going through the motions. I think, especially with like praying before meals, sometimes it's easy to just say the same prayer over and over again, but Kyrda does she says something different each time, and something meaningful. So that's really cool. But that's what I would say.
Welcome. It's now March 7th, 2021, which means you are past your 11 months of marriage. Woohoo! And this time we're going to ask about your future goals for marriage, and we're also going to talk about your favorite date night as a couple, because as I hear it, you guys go on monthly date nights. Kyrda, what are your future goals for your marriage?
Well, I think I have like a couple different categories of goals. Like I have like very practical goals, and then like just things that I would like for our marriage to be like. Some of those things are, I want to grow closer to Christ. I want us to prepare each other for seeing Jesus in the future, and I hope that we can do that with our kids as well when we have kids, and raise them to love the Lord just like we do. And then we have some more like fun goals, like buying a house, and that's been kind of fun. We've been just like fun shopping and like planning buying a house in the next year or so, year and a half. So we've been looking at that and just planning, what we want our life to look like, and we're thinking about maybe like turning our first house into an Airbnb, and that would be something fun, a fun project that we could do together. I don't know. I don't know. I lost my train of thought there, but I hope we just grow closer together, and that we can still go on, even when we have kids or when we're retired, like whatever stage. I hope that we can continue like dating each other and just enjoying being together no matter what the stage of life is. And those are my hopes for our marriage.
Okay. Future goals. Wait, these can't be current goals? I guess...
Current goals for the future.
Okay. Future goals for our marriage, I would say... I don't know, we have a lot. We're saving up to buy a house, so that's exciting. And we just recently started going to a church that we think is closer to the area that we would buy a house, and so we've attended that for the last month or so, and are hoping to get involved, and so that would be a goal, just to get involved with the church more, and just a community of believers. It's really important to us as we begin our lives together, even though it's been like 11 months, but and eventually we'll have kids, start a family, and I don't know, just a general, like, how can we serve each other better? How can I be a better husband? Just kind of a general goal that I always have, I guess. But yeah, that's what I would say.
And lastly, what was your favorite date night as a couple? And maybe you can explain what you guys usually do on these date nights aside from go on a date.
Yeah, every month. Usually, we do it once a month, but sometimes we'll like do 2 in a month or whatever. But we take turns planning date nights, and we have like a date night budget. And a lot of the times we like go to a restaurant and then do something fun. We've done a lot of barbecue because we're in KC, so that's been fun trying new barbecue restaurants. We have a list that we've been like working through of places that we've wanted to try, so that we can, when we have guests, we can like know where the best barbecue is. So we've done that. But I think my favorite date night, in October, we did a weekend of camping at, I literally forgot where it was, but it was somewhere around KC. Oh, Smithville Lake. We camped at Smithville Lake, and we camped Friday night, and then Saturday, and through Friday night and Saturday, the wind was like 35 to 40 mile per hour gusts of wind, and it snapped our tent pole, our new tent that we got as a wedding gift. And we were really excited to use it, and the wind like blew it over, and it was like flattening our tent. And we had brought all these like games and cards to play, and we like couldn't play outside because it was too windy, and we couldn't play in the tent because the wind was blowing the tent flat. So it wasn't what we expected it to be, but we like made really good food, and we cooked like everything on the campfire. We went for a really nice walk around the lake, and then we came home. We like still stayed through Saturday, and then Saturday after dinner we packed up all our stuff and came home. We had planned on camping through Sunday, but we came home and made like a fort in our living room, and we watched Harry Potter. So that was probably my favorite date night so far. It wasn't what we expected it to be, but it was still really fun, and we adapted and made it really fun. So it's probably my favorite.
That's really cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess we've gone on a lot of dates since we got married. Been able to explore KC, especially with it. I feel like a lot of the things that we've done, like the city's been quiet, so it's kind of sometimes like surreal, like going to like the World War I museum and like that area, and not a lot of people out. Kind of cool to see like the skyline and everything. And I don't know, one of my favorites is probably going camping at Smithville, just north of here. It was a lot of fun. It was really windy that day, so our tent might have broke, the tent poles. It was really windy, so but we had fun. We enjoyed it despite that. There's a long trail that surrounds the lake, so we were able to walk on that and make a campfire. But it was fun. More recently, yesterday we played disc golf at Waterworks, so that was a lot of fun too. Now that it's getting warm again, and explore another park that we haven't been to. So I don't know. It's just been fun exploring Casey, and there's a lot more places that we haven't been to, so I'm excited to continue exploring and trying barbecue.
Great. Yeah.
We've gotten to do a lot of that too.
So the next time you will see this video, it will be 1 year of marriage, and then you'll get to know all of these answers that you spent a whole year going unanswered. Okay, wave and sign off to the video camera now.